I'm attempting to complete every single GameCube game, and I'm using a random number generator to pick the next game. Last episode, we got to collect some souls in a Disney world and play the Haunted Mansion. And in this episode, we're fighting our way through another anime game and playing One Piece Grand Adventure. One Piece Grand Adventure was released on August 29th, 2006, and was developed by Gambarian and published by Namco Bandai Games. This game was another fun entry in the One Piece series, and I enjoyed my time with this one. Before we get started, make sure to like this video because it helps out the channel, and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of the future games. Without further ado, this is my experience with One Piece Grand Adventure. In One Piece Grand Adventure, we're going to go through the Grand Adventure mode to consider this one complete. I'm only going to go through the Luffy Adventure to consider this one complete, but if this video gets 20 likes, I'll return to this game and play through the Buggy Adventure. So make sure you like this video if you want another look at this game. One Piece Grand Adventure follows Luffy as he sets sail to become the king of the pirates and build a pirate crew of his own. In this mode, we have to complete 10 islands to complete the adventure. We can recruit characters to join our crew from the anime series and even play some mini games to unlock special items and character concepts. Luffy uses the Grand Mary to sail the Grand Line and visit different islands, where he will fight random battles with marines and other pirates, even fighting some of the main characters from the anime. The gameplay for this game is an arena fighter that has us taking enemies on, usually one-on-one, but sometimes we have to fight a bunch of enemies at one time. When the adventure opens, we get explanation of why Luffy is heading off to become a pirate, and his goal, which I mentioned before. Anyways, let's move into the game itself. On each island we have fights that we have to complete. We have to do them in order usually, but sometimes we can branch out to do side fights for more experience or different items. In our first fight of the game, we have to fight a bunch of pirates in a grass field. We only get 99 seconds to complete the fight, which is plenty of time in this game because damaging enemies is actually pretty simple, as long as they're not way over your current level. I won't be showing all the fights in this game heading into the future, but I will cover the fights that are major story points, or if anything new happens. During fights, there are items lying around the arena that we can use and throw them at the person that we're fighting. These can do a lot of damage sometimes depending on who we're fighting against, and they'll give us money so we can purchase extras in the game. Once we win a fight, we get a little scene of our character celebrating, and then we get experience points. Once we collect enough experience points, we can level up our character. This will make them stronger. When we level up, we can add one stat point into a specific category. Those categories are HP, our overall health, attack, how much damage we do with our basic attacks, defense, how much damage we take from basic attacks, super attack, which is how much damage our special attacks do, support, which when we get support characters, it'll be how strong they are, and items, which is how much damage items do to the enemies and how much damage we take from being hit with them. With Luffy, I basically just added our upgrade points to his attack category, so I could come into a fight and do massive damage attacking normally. I built each character that joined our crew differently, so I would always have someone to take an enemy out without struggling. I'm not sure if I chose the right ones for each character, but I tried to base it off of how they are in the anime. Our next fight I want to show is a rumble battle with the Marines. This isn't anything special, but this fight has a bonus objective. We need to win this fight before the timer gets to 50 seconds. If we do that, we get a special item for one of our characters. We're able to do this in this fight, and we get another sword for Zoro. These items can help make characters stronger in battle, and sometimes they're just new outfits to wear in fights, just to keep things fresh. Our first major fight in the game is the one with Zoro. We need to defeat him in battle so he will join our crew. I was trying to level up Nami in this fight, so I decided to tackle this with her. I'm not really sure how to show the fights in this video because they're a bit long and nothing really happens in them that are all that exciting, so I guess I'll just give the results and then anything we unlock. We win this fight with no problem at all. Zoro is actually really weak in this fight, and then he decides that he will join us, and we get our first true member of the Straw Hats, because Nami isn't part of the crew at this moment. We also get our first Eternal Compass, which allows for us to move to the next island to continue the adventure. We'll need one of these to move to a new area, so we'll have to collect a bunch of them throughout the game. When upgrading Nami, I decided that I was going to give her a bunch of health since she doesn't do all that much damage in her fights. This will allow for us to take some hits as we're wearing down the enemies we're fighting. The next area we can travel to is called the Orange Village Sea area, so we head there right away. Our next major fight is with Buggy. He isn't hard to fight because he doesn't do all that much damage, but he really loves to avoid us in this fight. I found using items as the easiest way to deal damage in this fight. Since Buggy loves to jump around, not allowing us to do any real damage with our basic attacks, items was the best choice. If I would have known how he was going to act going into this fight, I think I would have used Nami because her item stat is the highest in the party right now. We get some cool shades for one of Luffy's outfits, and then we go into our first fight that allows us to use support characters. In this game, we can unlock support characters by beating them in battle, and we can summon them in for a short amount of time to help us do damage to the enemy. Some are better than others, but it's nice to have someone to take the attention off of us while we're in a fight. We're fighting Tashigi in this fight, and I thought I was going to lose this fight until we pulled out some clutch moves and won the fight with nothing left in our health meter. Look at this thing, there's nothing there at all. We finish this fight and get another Eternal Compass, and we can move to the next island called Syrup Village Sea Area. I like that we get this sea map that will show us when an area is completely finished by saying complete on it really big. This shows that we don't need to go back to an island for any reason, and we can continue moving along in the game. Our next major fight is with Usopp. We have some dialogue with him, and then we fight him. I chose to use Luffy in this fight, and it was extremely easy. He didn't put up much of a fight against us at this point, and we even got the bonus goal done on our first try. We earn another support character, and Usopp decides to join us as long as we help him take out another pirate that is causing a bunch of problems on this island. We agree, and we got our third permanent crew member to join us. We even got a second skill gauge for Luffy that will let us use special attacks more often in fights, so that's always helpful. Our next fight is with Captain Kuro. This was the first fight in the game that gave me any issue, and I actually lost a couple times in this fight. This was mainly because I was trying to end the fight using a special attack, which I couldn't figure out how to do. Only to find out that I hadn't unlocked any of them for Luffy at this point in the game. I feel pretty stupid now, but playing the game for the first time, I didn't feel that bad about it. Our next fights are both with Arlong, that villain that is giving Nami a bunch of grief throughout the first parts of the game and in the anime. She doesn't join us because she's working for him to protect her family and the people in the village. So using Luffy, we come in, we have to fight him twice. The first fight with him is a joke, and I take him down with no issue at all. He didn't even do any damage to us. But the second fight, he does much better. But we're still able to take care of him in the fight. At this point in the game, we're still getting new arenas to fight in, but we're also starting to use some of the ones that we had in the first island. So that's something to take note of as we play through the rest of the game. After winning the fight, Nami can finally join us for real and becomes the fourth permanent crew member. So we now have a total of 4 people in the crew, but I've really only been using Luffy because he's so strong compared to everyone else. I guess that's my fault for using him as much as I did, but I wanted to make sure I had someone that could take down a tough enemy if we came across one. On the next island, we get our first minigame. All of these are a bit different, but this one is extremely basic. We have to destroy all the boxes that fall into the room before the timer gets to 0. It's not that hard to do with any character, but to get the time for the bonus goal, I actually switched to Zoro here, because his attacks were quicker and took out a wider range of boxes. So getting a bunch of boxes destroyed quickly was no problem using him. At the end of this island, we have to fight Chaser, but the objective in this fight isn't to take him down, but to just last the whole time period without dying. This is a common goal that this game attaches to fights, but most of the time we can take out the enemy before then and win the fight. But in this case, I wasn't able to get his health all the way down before the timer got to 0. I would have beat him if I just needed to take him down, but a win is a win in this game. After this fight, I was high enough level to get my first special attack with Luffy, so I went back to the Captain Kuro fight and was able to finish this fight with a special attack to get the bonus goal. The first special attack we got was Luffy stretching his leg out and slamming it back down to do damage. It's nothing fancy, but it does a good amount of damage. The next major fight is on the next island, and we fight against Wapol. This fight isn't all that important, but it was the first fight I had that caused both of us to take poison damage. This takes our health down over time, but we can give it to him, and since he has so much health, It helps us a lot to take him down in such a small amount of time. Then we take on Vivi, as she's hostile at first, but after this quick fight, she decides to join us and we get a 5th person that we can fight with in this game. I think at this point we can have a total of 6 people, but I skipped over a fight without noticing it in one of the previous islands. Anyways, after this fight, we get to take on Nico Robin, a member that will join the crew later in the series, but I don't think we get to that point in the anime during this game, so for now she will only be an enemy to us. Yet again, this fight is no problem at all, because I think at this point I'm just over leveled with Luffy. So in the next fight, I decided to try out Vivi and fight Tony Chopper. Using Vivi in this fight made it much harder than it needed to be, but I was right that Luffy is just over leveled. And since I put all my stats into health and attack, we don't have any problems with the enemies in this game. We have to fight Tony Chopper again, but this time, if we beat him, he'll join us and become the 6th member of our crew. So I pulled out the big guns and fought him with Luffy to make sure that I wouldn't lose the fight. We had to fight him in an area with a bunch of snow. I don't really think it makes a difference in the fight, but it's nice to have something different in the area, since we have just been fighting on a pirate ship for a lot of the battles leading up to this fight. We take out Chopper with no problem really. He did more damage than I expected, but at no point was I worried that I wasn't going to win the fight. And then he joins our crew. We head back to the previous island where we can fight Don Craig now, and this fight is a joke because I was supposed to do this fight way before this. So we take him out in no time, and then Sanji joins the crew, and he becomes our 7th member of the crew in the game. Alright, now that we have so many characters to fight as, it seems like it would be a good thing. But honestly, since the characters join and they're normally a lower level than Luffy, and most of the people we're with, I just never felt like going through the effort and grinding them to become stronger like Luffy. So basically, I just never used them. I wouldn't think that I'm the only person that thinks this way about it, but I think it's just too many people to fight as and just not worth my time. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this. I like that they're part of the crew, but nothing forces us to use them unless I just want some bonus items. Anyways, we head back to the Snow Island and take part in the next minigame. This one gives us a specific amount of time to clear all the snow from the arena. This one is actually very challenging. I guess I couldn't find the right character to use, or maybe I just didn't understand the best strategy, but I wasn't able to get the bonus goal in this minigame. I did complete it though, and I got to try out Sanji here. The next minigame I got to try out was against Zoro as we competed in a duck race. This was just a kart racing minigame that had us racing a track to beat Zoro to the end of it. It got really close at the end of the race and I almost didn't win, but overall this was super fun and I liked this minigame. Why wasn't there more of them in the game? After playing some minigames, we go back to fighting and we have to face Tashigi again. It's been a while since we faced her, so it was a nice blast from the past. In this fight, we got to try out our newly unlocked secret attack for Luffy called the Gum Gum Scythe. These moves are really cool. This attack, once we land it, gives us a really long cinematic, and we have to pick a style for the attack. I believe we need to match the command that the enemy picks, and the attack will be successful. If it is, we get this really over-the-top attack, and it ends the fight. That's it. Doesn't matter what their health is at, the fight is just over. We're able to do that in this fight. I'm going to show this whole thing because it's super cool. After winning the fight in dramatic fashion, we have to fight Mr. Zero himself, Crocodile. This is one of those fights that just has us waiting out the clock to win the fight. We just have to last 30 seconds, which is no problem at all. We get 1200 experience from the fight and get another Eternal Compass. I believe this is the one to the last island in the game, but before we go there, we get to face off with our brother Ace, because I refuse to call him Trace, because that's a dumb thing to change in the US dubs. Anyways, this fight was super hard, and I think this was one of the only fights in the game that I had any struggle with. Even with Luffy being overpowered, Ace hits really hard, and I just couldn't handle his attacks. I think this fight took me a total of 5 tries before I was able to take him down. After that exchange with Ace and catching up with our brother, we get to face Chaser again, and this time we actually get to take him down. Not just wait out the timer. I told you before that I would have beat him, and this fight was much closer. But I was able to take him down with a super attack, and I even got the bonus goal for the fight. This island is just a bunch of fights with people that we fought previously. But they're actually really strong this time around. This is when I was getting into the game and I wanted to continue playing it even though we were closing in on the end. After the Chaser fight, we get another fight with Nico Robin, and this one wasn't very hard this time either. So I'll just breeze over this one because the next fight is really good. After all this time, we get to fight the pirate that saved our life and inspired us to become a pirate ourselves. Red-haired Shanks. If you don't know anything about One Piece, this man is the real deal. I think he might be the strongest pirate in all of the 7 seas, so getting to fight him in the game was a standout moment for me. This fight opens with dialogue between Luffy and Shanks. Basically, it's just them catching up, and then we get to go into a fight. We're on a pirate ship, but this is a different one than the usual arena we fight in. It's storming, and Shanks is really tough. I was able to beat him, but he took a lot of my health in the fight, so it was extremely close. We get a little more dialogue at the end of the fight, and then we get another Eternal Compass so that we can explore a brand new island. I really liked this fight and thought it was a great addition to the game. Anyways, after this fight, we get to face off against Crocodile for the second time. In this fight, we can actually fight him and take him down, not just survive till the timer runs out. This is a 2-part fight with Crocodile, since this is the final encounter in the adventure mode for Luffy. The first fight has us fighting him and taking him out pretty normal. Using some super attacks and items help in this fight, and before long we're able to take him out. Crocodile tells us that the fight isn't over yet, and then we get sent back to the map and we can pick what character we want to fight him with. I chose Luffy again because why wouldn't I, and then we go into the second fight with him, where he is a bit stronger, but he's still no real challenge. I was going for the bonus goal in this fight, which was ending the fight with a secret attack move, and I kept failing it at the part where I have to pick the correct choice. After a few attempts at this, I was able to land the secret attack and take him out for good. We get a little bit of dialogue from Luffy talking about how he's grown as a pirate, and that he will become the king of the pirates one day. But for right now, he's grown a lot, but there's still a ways to go, and then the adventure ends. We get the final screen showing us our success in battle, bonus conditions completed, booty collected, battle characters collected, which I was only missing 1, and support character collection. All of this percentage added up gives us a final bounty. My final bounty was 69 million. Nice. Then credits roll and we've completed the game. Well, at least the adventure mode for Luffy. Would I recommend this game? I think I would recommend the game. The fighting feels smooth. The story follows the anime, so if you like One Piece, you'll like that. There's a lot of leveling up and unlocking characters and items, as well as multiple character campaigns. So I think overall this game is worth playing, and I enjoyed my time with it. But let me know what you think about it in the comments below. If you want to know what's next, stick around, but if not, thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe, like, and share this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Alright, so we got our list up, we got our number generator. On the count of 3, we're going to find out what we're playing next. So 3, 2, 1. 298, which I'm right next to, which is NCAA football 2003. Oh God. Another football game.